Today's date is December 9th, 2024. We're here for the oral history program, and my name is Jacob Stickle. I'll go around the table and have everybody introduce themselves.
My name is Zygmunt Makula. I am the archives intern.
And I'm Neil Tunison, Warren County engineer.
Thanks for coming. What is your official job title?
I am the Warren County engineer. It's it's an elected position, and we oversee the roads and bridges for the county, and I also oversee the map room for the auditor and recorder.
Oh, I wasn't aware that you oversaw them as well. And I guess we can start from the beginning. When and where were you born?
I was born in 1952 in Trenton, New Jersey.
Ah.
And my dad worked for a engineering services company. He was a draftsman designer, and he got transferred to Cincinnati in 1955 to work on a project at General Electric. They were working on developing a what's called atomic nuclear propulsion. They were wanting to build a plane. Air Force wanted to build a plane that would circle around in the air for months at a time, much like a submarine underwater. And when that was during the Eisenhower administration, when John Kennedy became president, that was one of the first things he canceled.
Oh, well.
He apparently didn't want nuclear reactors flying around in the air.
Well, I'll tell you the truth.
So
I believe his brother died in an airplane incident too. So that
could
would have
be.
been.
Yeah, that's true. His brother Joseph. Yeah.
Man, no wonder he might have canceled that. It might have been a little scary had one of those fallen out. But
so anyway, I grew up in Cincinnati, and for 1 year, my dad ended up working for Procter and Gamble, and was sent to a paper mill up in Northeast Pennsylvania. So I went to high school for 1 year up there, and then moved back and lived in the Sharonville area. And I went to University of Cincinnati. I started school at Marietta College for freshman year, and then I transferred to UC, and that's where I graduated. So I worked for consulting firms in Cincinnati for 10 years, and then went to work for my predecessor, Craig R. Pendleton, in 1986. And I was the bridge engineer. And then in 1990, 91, I became the chief deputy engineer. And then got my surveyor's license and ran for county engineer in 1996. So.
All right. And how did that go, do you think? This transition point of going from just chief deputy to...
I was ready for it. I mean, Rick, his name, he went by Rick Pendleton. Mm-hmm. He was a great mentor, so I felt really pretty well prepared. And there are some other people in the office that helped too. There was a Jerry Stiles, who was in the planning and design coordinator, and he had a lot of institutional knowledge of the county, which was really helpful. So I learned a lot from him, and so it was. I really appreciated the 10 years I had working there. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Did you always just work for the county or after college? Did you go on?
No. I worked for 2 consulting firms in Cincinnati for 10 years, and I worked for. I started 1 year working for a small MBE firm, minority business enterprise called Wilson and Associates, and I was there for a year and got laid off. And then I went to A.M. Kinney, which was a larger design firm. They did process design. I worked in the sanitary and hydraulics department there, and I was there 4 years and 3 years, and I got laid off there. And then I went back to work for Wilson and Associates, and I was there for 6 years. And then I took the job with Warren County.
Fair. And not to be deterred, huh?
No.
Good. Why did you choose the job at Warren County?
Well, I had a friend who heard about the job opening and thought I would be a good fit. So I didn't. He was more tied in with local government than I was. I was working on projects for ODOT and various other municipalities, but not up in Warren County. So I didn't hear about it, but he did, and he thought it was a good fit for me, and I applied and got the job.
All right.
So,
And during your time here, where has the engineer's office been, or even some of the different offices you've oversaw?
big part.
Where were some of these departments located through the years?
Well, in Cincinnati, A.M. Kenny was in Cincinnati, not far from the University of Cincinnati and University Hospitals in that area. And Wilson and Associates was in Bond Hill.
Okay.
So they're not far from, on Reading Road, not far from the Norwood Lateral.
Oh, I gotcha. And that's how you measure all distance, the northern line.
Yeah.
What about the departments in Warren County itself? Was it, since it wasn't always on this government campus, where was it before settling down around 2000?
Well, when I went to work for the county engineer back in '86, our office was out on Markey Road. The engineer's office was in the building right alongside Markey, and then the highway department was behind it. And that's where, and we oversee, the county engineer oversees roughly 267 miles of roadway and 395 bridges on county and township roads. So most of the maintenance facility is out there. So in 2011, the county commissioners created the Transportation Improvement District. That's a TID, and that was something that I encouraged because we saw a lot of big projects coming up, and I'll talk about them later on in the Fields, Erville, Mason Montgomery Road area. And the TID concept was very good in tackling these type of projects rather than the county commissioners, and I'll explain a little bit why. So we were, all of a sudden I'm having to hire people to handle these big projects.
Yeah.
And I talked to Dave Gully, who was the administrator, thinking the original plan was to expand the office at Markey. And he advised me that there was a vacant building on Main Street with the Corwin House that had been renovated by the Board of Mental Health Recovery Services for Hamilton, Warren, and Clinton County. And they had moved out. It didn't serve their purpose anymore, so it was vacant, and it was just right for us. So right now I have 12 people working. We moved there in 2012, and so I have 12 people working there. I've got 3 people working at the old office on Markey, and then we have about 26, 27 working at the highway department. And then I've got 6 working at the map room upstairs in the admin building. So that's our facilities,
Goodness. So where do you even keep your office since you're so scattered throughout?
Well, I keep most of the time I'm at the Corwin House. I have an office there that I use. Most of our meetings are at the Corwin House. But I do have an office over at Markey Road, my old office. I kept that, but I don't get over there very often, and we've just got so much going on that it's really it's more convenient to be at the Corwin House.
Right, where the action's happening.
Correct.
I gotcha. How's logistics with all of these different people and all these different locations?
Well, it's challenging, but it's really pretty good. We've got a great staff. I've got a great chief deputy engineer, and Kurt Weber. My bridge engineer, Roy Henson, does a tremendous job, and we'll talk about some of the projects he's worked on. Don Brigano is the assistant bridge engineer, and he handles a multitude of different type of projects. I've got an engineer that oversees subdivision review and stormwater, David Mick. I've got another engineer that assists him with stormwater and subdivision review and miscellaneous projects. Ron Hessler, and I've got a young engineering graduate in it's terrible.
It'll occur to you later. If you
It
want.
will. It will.
Don't worry. There's gonna be a question of people.
So I have permit supervisors and inspectors, and they all do a great job. So they run with the job and keep me informed on what's going on. I got a great map room supervisor, Bob Fox, and a great highway superintendent. We call him the deputy of operations, Mark Dawson. So but it's a great staff. I don't worry about it. They get the job done. Bobby Atkins, my administrative assistant, they all do a tremendous job. So
and that's what you want to see, right?
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Oh, you already covered that. What are some of your daily tasks and duties? I mean, we talked a little bit about administrative and...
Overseeing studies that we're doing to get some of these projects done. Because the TID doesn't just do county and township roads, we actually do state highways. We're actually widening State Route 63 in front of the prison. We've just finished, we're pretty much finished with State Route 48 down around US 22. A while back, we did improve State Route 73 in Springboro. We added a ramp on State Route 73 onto northbound 75. We've built improvements down at Fields Earl and Mesa Montgomery Road. We built a what we call a gore extension from northbound 71 onto the Fields Earl Road, Mesa Montgomery Road interchange.
What was it called? A gore?
A gore extension. The gore is is that dividing piece between the ramp and the main line. And it was a short gore before. And what was happening, the traffic would get backed up onto 71 and drivers would get off and try to get back on the interstate, which was causing a lot of accidents. And it ended up being one of the high crash areas in the state. So the state brought some safety funds. We brought some local match from the and a lot of these projects were funded with the Procter & Gamble tax increment financing district that was set up when Procter & Gamble came in the early 90s. And we used that money back then to build the water and sewer to serve them. And then we used some of that money to pay for the improvements, to pay off the loan for improvements that we made to Mesa Montgomery. We took a 2-lane road back in 95, 96 and made it a 5-lane road. And then back when it was all country. And then, but then there was still, it was a 30-year tax increment financing district that was collecting money to go into this capital improvement fund. So in the early 2010 period, we started using that money to build roadway improvements at the interchange and on Mesa Montgomery Road. So our day is spent working on projects like this. Right now we're working on like I said, we've already got State Route 63 started. We're just getting ready to start on Fields Earl Road widening between Snyder Road and I-71. And we're also, we also have a lot of development coming in, so we're looking at how to manage access for these particular projects.
Yeah.
We have bridge projects that we're doing. We have a lot of we're going after federal funding through the local bridge replacement program that's managed by the County Engineers Association of Ohio.
Oh.
So we've got we're getting ready to bid a couple projects on that, and we're have other projects later in 2025 and 26 that we'll be bidding out. We have roadway improvements, intersection improvements that we're looking at. So we've been building quite a few roundabouts in the past 10 years. So we'll continue to do that, and curve realignment projects and whatnot. So we have a lot of construction that we're getting ready for.
Definitely, and one of the things that people always remark about Warren County is its massive explosion of population. So of course you're very busy.
Yeah, right.
Do you feel like you've prepared Kurt Weber enough for later projects, or?
I believe so. He's done a great job. He's been with me. He's been with the county engineer. It'll be 30 years in February.
Oh, okay.
I've been with the county engineer's office 38 years. So hopefully he's got a good handle on that institutional knowledge, because that comes in really handy when you're dealing with projects. So
Definitely.
and I'm always a phone call. I'm only a phone call away to pick my brain on something that's happened a while back. So
you're definitely available to be.
Yeah, I mean, Warren County's great, so I want to do whatever I can to help after I'm retired. So
That's fair, and I remember asking Sheriff Larry Sims this question before, and he was saying, "Please don't call me. I want to be left alone." So everybody has their own.
yeah.
What are some of something that people don't know about your position or role?
A lot of people don't know that I'm elected. That's always a surprise.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No. A lot of people don't know the difference between a state highway, a county road, a township road, and a municipal road. So we have a website, wceo.us. We've got to report a problem on that, and many times we'll get complaints about a township road. We even get complaints about roads in Warren, Ohio, or Warren County, Iowa, or Warren County, Kentucky, and they just see Warren County, and that's where they go. So I don't think a lot of people realize how much we do that, and how closely we work with ODOT. And because of that, I think they think that we are ODOT. So
they're just an extension office of that.
Right.
How closely would you describe your working with ODOT? What are some things you would really work with them on?
Well, like I said, we work with them very closely on the Fielder Road, Mason Montgomery Road interchange. When we widened it in 96 to 5 lanes, and in 97, 98 we widened a portion of Fielder Road to 5 lanes from Wilkins Boulevard to. We work with Hamilton County to take it over to US 22, and that was a lot with ODOT. We worked closely with them on that. They provided a lot of the funding that we needed for it, and we came up with local match to get these projects done. So in the mid-2000s, things started to explode. I mean, we had one of the reasons I was really interested in coming to Warren County in 1986 was that King's Auto Mall had just been built.
Oh.
And I could see how it was going to explode. I mean, I saw that as something that would bring a lot of development and a lot of population to Warren County. And when I came here in 86, the population was right around 100,000. It had just hit 100,000 in 84, 85, 86 in that time period. And now the population is 250,000. So we've been growing at around 3-4% a year. We're one of the faster growing counties in the state.
Yeah.
So, but with that growth especially in the Fields Road, Mesa Montgomery Road area, we did a traffic study and determined that improvements were needed. And we had a really good consultant that helped us sort the traffic, make traffic projections that had been really spot on. And we came up with a plan. It turned out it was too expensive to do this one huge project to take traffic off of Mesa Montgomery Road and put it elsewhere. So we decided to keep it on Mesa Montgomery, but come up with a series of projects. And we came up with 10 projects. We added an additional lane going from Mesa Montgomery Road from Fields Road up to Nator Boulevard. And then we work with ODOT. They actually computerized the traffic control system. They put about 20 signals on interconnect, and they call it the computerized traffic control system, and CTCSS. And that was the ramp we did in 2011, the signals we did in 2012. In 2013, we started the ramp, the Gore extension. In 2014, 2015, we started widening Mesa Montgomery Road from, I might be getting my years off a little bit, from Fields Road north to Socialville Foster Road. We went from 5 lanes to 7 lanes. We put in and then the state widened Fields Road from Mesa Montgomery Road to just past the southbound on-ramp to 71 northbound. And then we put a median on Mesa Montgomery Road just north of Escort to keep people from turning left into the gas stations, the various businesses in there, because that was creating a lot of traffic congestion. And then we built the loop ramp, or a slip ramp from southbound 71 southbound Mesa Montgomery Road onto southbound 71. So we bought the old BP station there and put this ramp in. So we took traffic off of Escort, and it's making traffic flow onto 71 a lot better. And we got federal funding. A lot of these projects, some of these projects, like the widening on Mesa Montgomery Road, we'd use entirely tax increment financing funding from the P&G TIF. So, another project where we used tax increment financing was on the Racino. We did that we started collecting money in 2013 for that project. We made improvements on Union Road in front of Solid Rock Church. It used to be a real sharp bend in the road. We smoothed it out. We put in a roundabout on Green Tree at Union Road, and now we're actually going to be using that money for a roundabout at 741, State Route 741 in Green Tree Road. We're within the next couple years. So we're doing planning. We're planning for that, and then so that's what our day is like. We're just planning,
Yeah.
getting ready for projects like this and doing all the environmental. There's a lot of environmental work, a lot of environmental documentation, permits, things like that we have to get. When we replaced the bridge on King Avenue over the Little Miami River, that was our project. We got federal funding for that. And you were talking about, public input. That was a great project where we got a lot of public input. We started planning this bridge in 2014 when we started to see the bridge that we put in 1988. And incidentally, that was the first river crossing that I cut my teeth on as bridge engineer.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, when you start replacing bridges that you put in, it's time to retire.
Oh. I can sympathize.
But the beams that we put in just didn't have the life that we thought they would have. And so we ended up having to start analyzing this. We're looking at posting the bridge for reduced weight limits. So then we realized we need to start the process to replace this bridge. And my bridge engineer was really good. He applied for funding on projects, and we started getting funding.
All right.
And so we had a public involvement meeting at King's Junior High School in 2017, April 2017, and we had over 300 people come. And 90% of the comments that we got were that the bridge should not stay on the alignment. The alignment involved, if you're going from Deerfield Township into Hamilton crossing across the river, Hamilton Township across the river, was that you had this big hairpin turn. And then you would cross, make a more general curve into the bridge, and then make a couple of curves to get back on the Grandin Road to go up the hill to see Route 48. Well, if you're coming the opposite way, the curve was real sharp coming into the bridge. When we designed the bridge and built the bridge in 1988, semi-trailers were 48 feet long on a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
After we built the bridge, Congress passed a truck weight limit law that increased the tractor trailers to 53 feet.
Oh.
And the radius for a 53-foot trailer was much more daunting than a 48-foot, and we started having a lot of trucks that were crushing the guardrail.
Yeah.
One truck actually ripped off close to 100 feet of guardrail off the bridge, and it took us about 3-4 months to get that bridge rail replaced. So we realized we had an alignment problem. So one of the things that came out of the meeting was that people, they didn't want the hairpin turn. That's what worried them. So we ended up moving the bridge on an alignment that totally different alignment. We weren't going to use the existing piers that we had. We built new piers. We have a 2-span, 520-foot long bridge, 210-foot approach span on the Deerfield side, and 310-foot span over the river. And steel girder. There's no piers in the river. And that was one of the things that we were faced with. We couldn't put a pier in the river. We had to, keep it outside.
Yeah.
So, and there were a lot of other permits that we had to, a lot of other environmental.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure soil and water had something to do with that too.
Not so much soil and water. They were, they were, more helpful than helping us coming up with the plan. But it was more Ohio EPA and the Corps of Engineers and Scenic Rivers program, which is the Department of Interior. So there were a lot of things, a lot of hoops that we had to jump through to satisfy them to get that project done.
Yeah, a lot of tape.
And we crossed over the Little Miami Trail. You can now bicycle, hike under the bridge now. And so it turned out to be a really cool project, partly because of the public input that we got. We were able to get funding for it, so
Another big plus for that.
yeah.
So just like you mentioned, you've had interaction with the public. Is it more direct interaction with the public, or is it more through the setting of, I guess, like you said, going to a high school, having the public gather around and
Yeah,
input?
a lot of times it's phone calls.
Okay.
People are unhappy with something, or they see a lot of. For instance, we get a lot of requests for flashing stop signs and roundabouts because there have been crashes at intersections, and so some projects we're working on them. We will, in the next year or two, you'll see something. A lot of times we're not ready to do something like that. Many cases we'll put up a flashing stop sign. The interesting thing about that is that in time people ignore flashing stop signs. That's one of the tricks. There's a psychology in driving, and it's that once you've been through an intersection or stretch of road dozens and hundreds of times, you don't see things.
Yeah.
And that's hard to explain to people. I mean, so they want, and to their point, well, they'll say, then put a flashing sign up. But in time, we're already seeing people ignoring flashing signs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. So we can't cure, but we'll address problems and see how well it works. So. And our funding is limited. We can't address every problem that comes up, but we do look at crash history, and we're analyzing data. Well, that's one of the things we're doing: analyzing data, collecting data, analyzing it to see where we need to make improvements.
Absolutely.
Do you have any examples of when working with the public was super rewarding, or quite the opposite, when there were major challenges with trying to get public input, or even working to set up a new project?
When I took office in '97, in the 6 months prior and the 6 months after that, along State Route 73, there had been half a dozen fatal crashes. They happened at either intersections or they were driving off the road, hitting trees and whatnot. There was a group of citizens who were really concerned about it, especially at the intersection of State Route 73 and Bonnell Hill Road. And so they got the attention of the mayor of Harrisburg, who was Charles Sanders at the time, super guy, and ODOT, and we created a State Route 73 coalition, and it was made up of citizens, District 8, ODOT District 8, which is the office out here on 741, just south of 63. They handle the 7 Southwest Ohio counties, and Waynesville, Clear Creek Township, Springboro, Waynesville, Wayne Township, Massey Township, and I think there might have been someone from, Regional Planning Commission. So we would meet periodically and come up with plans. We had a consultant who took data, collected data, analyzed it, came up with projects to implement, and it was well received. I mean, the public was appreciative of the fact that we were addressing it. We weren't blowing them off. We can't do this. That we need to, I don't want to say think outside the box a little bit, but be a little bit more open to how to go about addressing these issues.
Yeah.
And as a result, we built 5 projects over a 5-year period. We started with an intersection. It was something that we did, the county engineer's office did, and the county actually put money. They were putting in about $1 million a year for road improvement projects. They started this in 97, 98. So over a 7-year period, we collected about $7 million. So we would use this as money for projects we would not normally do with county engineers' funds. So the first project we did was the intersection of 73 and Red Line 5 Points Road. We put in a signal, a turn lane and a signal. The next project that ODOT did, I believe, was putting in a turn lane or extending a turn lane on State Route 48 at State Route 73, and I think adding a turn lane on State Route 73. And then they put in a turn lane on State Route 73 at Bunnell Hill Road, and then not too long after that, they signalized it. And then we built a turn lane and a turn lane on State Route 73 at Township Line Road in 2014, somewhere in there. And a year or two later, the state put in a traffic signal. So we did quite a few projects in the area. So and that was really due to citizens. There's a group of citizens, like I said, on Bunnell Hill Road that were really upset about a fatal crash. They were concerned. I travel this intersection all the time, and I don't. And I'm concerned about our safety. So yeah, it worked out. It worked out really well. And like there have been other crashes, other problem areas that have been brought up to our attention, and something that we really hadn't really considered. And when we took a look at it, we realized there is a problem here. We do need to address it. So,
do you usually go out there yourselves to take in the land, or perhaps you just take in information from the public, or how's the process look?
Well, I mean, it's just a matter of getting a call or hearing complaints, and well, sometimes we're aware of the issues there, and there's really not much. We know that there's really not much that we can do without spending a lot of money. We need to maybe incorporate it into something larger. But many times it'll be just being made aware of. You get enough calls about. I'm trying to think of an intersection where it was really due to another intersection where it was due to. We did a project on Waynesville Road at State Route 123, and that was a project that we funded with money that we got from the commissioners. But we squared up the intersection. It was skewed. It wasn't a perpendicular intersection, so you couldn't look over your left shoulder to see traffic coming down 73. And we got enough complaints about that. We looked at it. this is not a hard project to do. It's a matter of working with ODOT to get the permit that we need to do. So it was something like that we really didn't. It wasn't on our radar because it wasn't a county highway. It was a township road coming into a state highway. So yeah, we took a look at it and fixed it. So.
All right. As an elected official, how does your work differ between working with staff and other elected officials?
Different. Well, I work closely with the auditor on funding and making sure that we do our keeping our funds and straight. We work somewhat with the recorder's office because we have a lot of through the map room and also through getting a lot of our deeds and easements recorded for our projects and whatnot. I work very closely with the county commissioners on getting approval for projects and getting, like I said, getting our TID started. We work closely with them to get that underway, and county administrator and Martin Russell and Tiffany Zindel and Dave Gully before that, and Bob Price before him, and work very closely with Regional Planning Commission. Somewhat with the Treasurer's Office, on the taxes, and because we do acquire property and for the TID, and there's a period of time when we are paying taxes for the thing until we can get tax exemption filed with the state to do that. So I work closely with the Sheriff's Office. They provide a sheriff's deputy. We pay for the sheriff's deputy time to weigh trucks, define them, and also where trucks go over guardrail, he'll take the report, and so that we can get the insurance and bill the insurance company for repair. And Mark Pelfrey, but we work very closely with him. And that's one of the things that I like about Warren County, is that when I came here in '86, I saw how my predecessor, my boss at the time, got along with other office holders, and I thought, I would have never dreamed that political office holders, I came from Hamilton County, and I'm not sure I saw that, at least in the press anyway, but I saw that here in Warren County, and I was really impressed. So I got off to a good start in working with other elected officials. It's been fun.
That's fantastic to hear. You named off quite a few other people as well. Is there any additional coworkers or managers or other people you say have had an impact on you?
Oh, well, I'm sure. And townships. I've really enjoyed working with townships. They've been really good. I mean, I'm their engineer by law, but it's fun working out projects and working solutions, and they help. And sometimes we, brings resources for them that they wouldn't normally have. And
right.
So, yeah.
Is this at the township trustee level? Or?
Yes, right. And we work with the road, their road departments, but yes, the township trustees, they're great. And I'm trying to think of other, and working with our adjoining counties, we get along great. We work a lot of projects with Butler County Engineer's Office. We've done improvements on Butler Warren Road. We did a major widening project back in 2011. Could stop. I got a cramp in my leg.
Oh, no problem. There you go. We're all good?
I was talking about working with adjoining counties and the various projects on Butler Warren Road. We did a major project widening Butler Warren Road from Taylorsville Road up to Bethany Road. That was about 13 years ago, in 2011. We did a project with them. We've done various intersection improvements. We just a couple of years ago finished one on Butler Warren at Princeton. We did a bridge replacement on Butler Warren over Miller Creek with City of Monroe and Butler County.
Mm-hmm.
We did. We're doing. Butler County did a roundabout on Westchester Road that turns into Socialville Foster Road. That was a few years ago. We work with them on that. We're getting ready to do another roundabout on Butler Warren Road at Demick Road and Irwin Simpson. So that'll be a 2029 project. We work with Hamilton County on. We did an intersection improvement at Snyder Road back in '98. We did widening on Fieldsville Road in '97 from Wilkins Boulevard to US 22. We've done a roundabout on Fieldsville Road at Columbia Road that turns into Lebanon Road in Hamilton County. That was about 7, 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we've done projects with I don't know if we've kind of coordinated projects with Montgomery County. Right now, we're working with them on a project. The county commissioners own the old Miami and Erie Canal property in Franklin, and which is needed to realign a portion of Dixie Highway so that in Franklin and Montgomery County, so that an old deteriorated 120-year-old wall can be removed and regraded. So I'm helping them on legal descriptions for that, but we work with Clinton County on projects at county that go into Warren and Clinton County intersections and things like that. So and I work with them in the County Engineers Association. I used to be
You're a recipient of an award as well, right? And the president of that association.
Yeah, well, I was a district director. The County Engineers Association is divided into 12 districts that match the ODOT districts throughout the state.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a district director for a number of years until I became, well, even after I was president of the association, I was director. I would say for 10 years off and on, I was director.
Mm-hmm.
And we meet periodically at our office because we're kind of in between all the counties. So,
we flipped around a little bit.
Yeah, I was trying to think but it was just, I was just talking about working with counties.
Yeah.
So it's through that part too that
Mm-hmm.
I work with them through the association and
I gotcha.
yeah.
What were some of your daily tasks working as the president of, well, I guess you said director is what you called it?
I was actually president of the association in 2012.
I see.
I got elected. Daily tasks, preparing for meetings. I'm trying to remember some of the noteworthy things that happened then. We had a new director, and he was executive director, and he was staffing it, so I was involved in interviewing candidates for an administrative assistant. Overseeing legislation, trying to get certain bills passed in the Ohio legislature. I'm trying to remember what bills. I was involved in getting stormwater legislation passed, and that's what kind of led me to get the Engineer of the Year award in 2004. Was that I helped get the legislation, the public sewer law expanded to allow counties to address stormwater in the same way. And that was in 2000. George Terwilliger was our state rep at the time, and he helped me get that done.
All right.
So, I don't, it's a shame to say I don't remember specifically what. Oh, I know, truck weights. I was very involved in trying to keep truck weight laws from being increased.
Mm-hmm.
And I did testify in the Senate, Ohio Senate, to keep from raising truck weights, which they ended up not. Well, they did, but not in a way that was
Definitely.
detrimental in the manner that I was concerned.
Right.
So
I found your article, and then I also found your letter regarding the truck weights.
yeah,
And I can see why that would be
Yeah.
a major issue, especially
Right.
concerning your past as a bridge
yeah.
a manager, and just
And
yeah.
the guardrail getting crushed by
Yeah.
trailers. So
really cemented that for you.
yeah.
Man. And on that, is there, as particularly since you're the longest serving, Warren County engineer, is there a specific thing you would like to be remembered for? Like an accolade or a project or? anything
Well,
specific?
just getting a handle on the traffic down at Mesa Montgomery and Fields Earl.
Mhm.
And I grew up not far from there. That's what I mean. When I was in high school, I grew up a half mile north of Fields Earl Road in Butler County, and it was all country roads back then. So I've seen it. I've seen Fields Earl and Mesa Montgomery Road used to be a two-way stop.
Mhm.
It was the traffic on Mesa Montgomery Road did not stop, but the traffic on Fields Earl Road did.
Yeah.
And that was back when the interchange was a year old. So,
Oh,
and
it's fun to see the type of progress from when you were in high school.
oh yeah, and now it's 7 lanes. I remember I knew the people. I used to go to church at Sycamore Presbyterian, and I knew some of the people that lived on Mesa Montgomery Road, and
They give you a pat on the back for the work.
Yeah.
Actually,
actually,
they should.
the Natorps. I knew the Natorps.
Oh.
Dottie and Merton was the father of the, patriarch of the company,
Mhm.
and his wife Dorothy Dottie, and she was great. And they were both great. I really appreciated them. And I knew another. A widow, farm widow, further up the road, Nettie Bowen. She was really nice.
Oh.
And I knew the Shophockers. We had neighbors that used to buy straw from them. That's where Procter & Gamble is now, but the Shophockers used to own that farm. And so I knew people that lived out there.
Yeah.
But I like to be remembered that our team got a handle on it and worked with ODOT to make it happen. For getting the King Avenue Bridge replaced twice. And
I understand the feeling of needing to retire after the second time.
Yeah.
I started house painting when I was 13, and I started repainting houses. So
Yeah.
I felt like I had to leave at that
Yeah,
point. So I
yeah.
understand. I know this is more of a vague question, but what are some of the highlights with Warren County?
Well, how Mason has grown. I would say, to me, that's been stunning. When they annexed P&G, it went from a little town of 10,000 to 40,000. And that's been remarkable. How Kings Island has grown over the years. How P&G has grown over the years. How traffic has grown, the developments, the number of developments that we've seen pop up all over the place.
Seemingly all around the highway.
It's and that's why. I mean, that's one of the reasons the county has grown is we're between I-75 and I-71.
Yeah.
So.
That also.
Just-
Sorry.
I'm just trying to think of other areas where the growth has been remarkable. Any particular development that's nothing's popping up.
No worries. You also served as the Secretary Treasurer of the TID. What does that entail? You mentioned it was created by the commissioners, but what does the Secretary Treasurer do?
Well, I oversee the funds for the TID. We collect all this. We collect money not only from the commissioners, but we also and that P&G TIF. But when we do a project for Springboro, they'll bring money. When we do a project for Lebanon, they'll bring money. When we do, a project for Hamilton Township, they'll bring money. So there's a lot of accounting to do. I don't do the accounting myself, but I oversee it. We have a consultant that oversees that. We have a couple of consultants. One that kind of manages the project, and one that oversees the accounting end of it. So I do that. I sign off on checks that are written for construction projects, invoices and things like that are prepared. And I oversee the the minutes and whatnot being done. So.
Fair. And Kurt Weber had mentioned that you administered over 500 million, and is that over your time of your tenure, or is that over a certain span of time of the TID?
I don't know, 500 million. It seems a little high, but at least 200 million.
Oh man! Oh wow! So that big of a well, you were the one administering. I feel like you would know.
Yeah, I haven't really thought of it quite that way, but
Fair.
I mean, as county engineer, over all the projects, I suppose over 28 years there might be 500 million. I haven't thought of it that way. So
that's fair.
I think more in the future about how much we're going to be doing. I don't really think about much what we've done. I guess I should, but.
Well, that's fair. Always looking forward. I mean,
Yeah.
with the amount of, your business being growth, right?
Right.
So, that's fair.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I guess that's our job to look back and
Yeah.
help you out to
Yeah.
map out the past. But yeah.
Fair, fair. Would you like to talk about the Lebanon Kiwanis group? Who are they?
It's a service organization. It's made up of business folks, county. There are a lot of folks from the county that are in it. Matt Nolan, he's a member. Renee Chris, she's a magistrate in domestic relations court. She's president of the or past president of the association or the Kiwanis group, Kiwanis Club. Various and sundry, like I said, business. They're all walks, and it's we our main goal is providing scholarships for school, high school seniors and anything related to education. We that's one of our pet projects is to help with things like that. So
That sounds nice. I remember talking to Gregory Meyer, and he seemed to be part of that, and I believe Amy Breeze, another person who I talked to, seemed to be part of that group as well.
yeah.
Well, that's nice to hear. Did you hold a specific position in the group, or?
No.
I gotcha. But you did serve as a member of the Building and Grounds Committee for Lebanon Presbyterian.
Correct.
What does that look like?
Well, we're trying to figure out how to handle the area. Well, the Building and Grounds just maintains the building.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's the chair set up, the HVAC system, just the just the physical output, or the physical facilities of the church,
Mm-hmm.
and making sure the parking lot gets plowed in the wintertime, and overseeing the gardens and around the church. And right now we had housed the Interfaith Hospitality Network, which is now known as Family Promise, but the day house where the director would keep families that they might not have a job, or where the kids would come and get on the school bus in the morning. They've moved out to, they brought to the old Shaker Inn on 42 on Cincinnati Avenue last year.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't need the houses that we had. We had a couple of houses that they used. We're tearing them down. They don't serve our purpose, and we're trying to come up with a game plan to use the land around the church a little better, so
Okay.
more consistent with what our needs are right now. So so that keeps me pretty busy.
I would imagine. I suppose you're going to continue working on that in retirement.
Yeah.
You also mentioned you were a Boy Scout leader before we started. Is that with Lebanon Presbyterian, or?
No, it was actually with Lebanon Methodist Church. It was Pac 35 at the Methodist Church. My oldest was in Cub Scouts, and my youngest was in Cub Scouts. And so I started out as the song leader, and
Yeah.
doing active songs and getting the kids kind of excited about.
Mm-hmm. Riled up and getting into the
Yeah. And then I became Cub Master. I was a song leader with my oldest, and then when my youngest got into it, I became Cub Master, and I oversaw the Pinewood Derby, and
Oh man.
and And then I got drafted into doing the district Pinewood Derby.
Yeah.
So
That would be, oh goodness, it's been a minute since I've looked at a district. That wouldn't be Dan Beard, would it?
I was in Danbury.
That was Dan Beard.
Yeah.
I might have gone to that then, because when I was in, oh shoot, I don't remember what year this was at this point. This would have been actually it might have been 2008-ish. I did Pirate Derby myself.
That's about right.
Yeah, I remember going to Pirate Derby a couple times, and they were just busy as all get out,
Yeah.
excited to compete.
Yeah, that was me. Did you come down to Lebanon School? It was at the what's now the middle school. It used to be the junior high school. Where the school famous for Harbor Valley PTA.
Yeah.
It was in the multi-purpose room.
I might have gone there. I need to talk to my father to see. Okay, he took me there. He was also the assistant leader. And ask him to double check when that was, because that's exciting to hear about.
That's about when I was doing it. So.
All right. What's some of the memorable moments from there? Did you help out your son with the Pirate Derby as well?
Oh yeah, I helped him with it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just.
They always give you the kit, but you always got to play with it a little bit more.
Oh yeah, that's fun. That's
That's exciting to hear about.
And then I was a scout leader with Troop 186, and that was at first affiliated with the American Legion.
Oh,
And it was post 186, and on across the street from the fairgrounds. And then we ended up starting a meeting at the conservation camp out on 123 between 71 and Waynesville Road, in that area. And then now they meet at the Presbyterian Church, but they were my youngest was out of Scouts. I wasn't involved in Scouts anymore, so.
Right, as it goes.
Yeah.
You don't want to be just Cubs. You don't want to be the leader to somebody who's not your kid.
But we would go. Our memorable activities were going caving. We would go caving down in Kentucky, and
those are very fun times.
last time I went caving is I got stuck.
Oh gosh.
So they actually had to rescue me. I got wedged in. I slid in. I kind of slid in a spot, and I just couldn't wiggle out. So
Yeah.
had to hoist me out a little bit, and I wiggled out, and they treated it as a rescue because the rescue team that came in, they were talking about how to get me out. One guy above me says, "Well, I can jackhammer the rock around his knee," and the fellow behind him said, "You remember what happened when we did that last year? The rock fell on the guy and killed him."
Oh my God.
He says, "Think about how he got in and do just the opposite." And I said, "Yes."
That's too much.
So
That's terrifying.
So they hauled me out. They actually carried me out. They said they wanted to carry me out. They said it's not often that they get a good training exercise for a rescue. So they carried me out on a stretcher, on a not a stretcher, but what do they call it, body board, but.
Yeah, the board. It's not the two poles with the cables. Yeah.
And it was, we were way back in the cave. I mean, it took like close to an hour to get out of there.
Yeah.
And then they put me on an ambulance, and the medic, he goes, oh, and to get where I was stuck, we walked way back into this cave. We crossed over a creek. I had to wade through a creek. Then I climbed up on a rock. Got through this slot. It was called the slots. I don't remember the name of the cave. We walked through this, crawled through the slots, and that's where I had stopped to adjust my hard hat with my light on it. And that's when I slid. And I just couldn't. I'm 50 years old, and I just can't.
Yeah.
wiggle like I used to.
Right.
And so he says, where's your broken leg? And I said, I didn't break my leg. I just got stuck. And he says, well, he checked my temperature. He says, you don't have hypothermia. And I said, well, I wasn't in the water. I was up above it.
Mm.
And he gets on his radio and he says, cancel the Kentucky Blue flight. They were apparently going to take me to Lexington by helicopter. So I get home. I get home, and my youngest son, he's not happy that I got stuck in a cave. Okay?
Oh.
And so I get home and I told my wife, I said, I got stuck, and I don't really want to make a big deal about this at all. I asked the other leaders not to say anything about it. And no longer did I say that. I get a call from the Inquirer.
Oh.
And they were asking about me being stuck, and I said, did the other leaders call you and ask you about that or tell you about that? And she says, no. She says, this is all over the newswire. It's been picked up by AP, and it was because they canceled an air care flight to pick up a scout leader from Lebanon.
Oh, good.
So,
Oh, boy.
so anyway.
For love of, I wouldn't have expected AP to all of a sudden pick up lunch.
So I guess it was a good rescue. So
Yeah. I wonder if that AP.
Well, we're glad that you're okay.
so if you Google me, you'll see the article.
I did not see that. I'm going to look for it now.
So we heard you touch on how the county grew rapidly and is continuing to grow rapidly. Maybe could we get a little bit more on what the county was like when you started versus now, both the county itself and then also maybe the county government?
Well, there was a lot of agriculture land. I mean, there were farmland in the eastern or western part of the county as well as the eastern part, and but you started to see it being divided into subdivisions. Especially along Bethany Road, I knew folks who owned farmland on Bethany. You could start to see it getting split up and sold off for subdivisions. Like I said, Mason was just really a small city at the time. The largest city in the county at that time was Franklin. They were, roughly 12, maybe more than that. And no, they were around 20,000. And Lebanon was around 18, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we really thought, my predecessor and I really thought that Franklin and Middletown area, the town mall was fairly new, and that just seemed like the area that was growing, Franklin Township along 122. So we were looking at that, and then Procter & Gamble came, and all of a sudden it was the southwest part of the county that exploded.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, when I came here, farmland along Mason Montgomery, and not so much along Columbia because Landon was starting to really develop. But 48, Stubbs Mill Road, that's still pretty rural, but you're starting to see a lot of lot splits happen along there. Towlersville Road, now in and Bethany Road. There were farms. Like I said, there were farms along there when I came here, and it's been remarkable, the amount of development that we've seen. Yeah, I knew a lot of. I was in the Republican Party, coming here, and super folks, but a lot of them were farmers, and whatnot, and we started to see a change where it's folks from moving in from Hamilton County that were starting to get involved in the party, and not that I should complain because I came from that area. but it was just an interesting dynamic that we saw changing. So
Newcomers versus the old.
well, yeah, and just a different way of thinking about things. So
True.
yeah, I used to do that. I used to do the beef and corn roast.
Oh.
Les Spaeth, he was chairman of the Republican Party, and great guy. And he asked me to take over that. He used to do that, and it was a dinner we would have in August.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a brother who had a farm out on 741, and he grew the corn. He supplied the corn for the roast, and we had a deli up in Springboro that would provide us with the roast beef, and we'd have 500 people come to a dinner. It was a lot of fun, and so he asked me to take over, and I did that for I don't know, at least 4, maybe 5 years. I can't remember now exactly, but a lot of country type people that liked that type of venue, but as we started to see more and more, folks from out of the area come, that didn't mean as much to them, so they wanted to see things done differently, and so we kind of got away from that. So that was a change that I saw due to demographic change. And
That's interesting to consider.
Yeah, very interesting. Were there any significant events within the county government that happened during your time here?
Well, building the new administration building, that was huge. And getting all the various offices together, and they were pretty much together before, but they were just so cramped over on Silver Street. Getting the new jail has been huge to get that done. That's been a tremendous improvement.
Would the casino have affected
The casino, we that provided funding for doing the engineering on State Route 63, and we got money for through the Transportation Review Advisory Council. That's a statewide organization, kind of chaired by the director of ODOT, and it's comprised of people that the directors pick to review project applications, and for major projects which are defined as over 12 million. And they bring, if you can come up with a local match, they'll consider that project. The TID through the Racino, TIF, and the commissioners general fund money that they put into the TIF. Right now, they're at the TID. They've been putting about $7 to 10 million a year. In the past 4 years, they've been putting in 10 million a year. So we had quite a bit of money for local match. So that's what caused 63 to happen. Is at the track we brought in all this money for a local match, and it was a $20 million project, and we were bringing close to half the amount. And so we got that underway, and it turns out we did the engineering with the Racino, I think with the Racino TIF, but so that's helped a lot. So we got that going. Other projects. Another big project. We're kind of going back a little bit to some of the prior things, was the Western Row interchange, and that's. And I mentioned that because of track. We went to them in 2014, 2015. And that was a $20 million project, and we brought $7 million. But what was really neat about that particular track presentation, we met over in Middletown, and because they take applications from all over Southwest Ohio. We weren't the only one. It was we were competing with a bunch of others, but David Nichols was the mayor of Mason at the time, and he got a bunch of business leaders to come and sit during the presentation. So when we got to the question, do you have any supporters of your project? And the mayor says, well, all the business leaders along Innovation Way and that would be served by this development or this project, please stand up. And there were half a dozen business leaders that stood up, and they go, wow. And one of the fellows on the council came up to the mayor and me later on. He says, I've been doing all these hearings, and he says, this is the first time something like this has happened where you actually had business leaders stand up. So I felt really good. And we got funding for it. So that was how we got Western Row Interchange expanded. We got a southbound off-ramp and a northbound on-ramp built, and we did that in 2017, 2018.
That's exciting.
So, and then another big project, another huge. There have been some big hospital projects that have come to Warren County. That's been, I consider, game changers, and that's Premier Health Center on Union Road in Middletown. We were involved in that project, widening the bridge on Union Road over Dix Creek. Mm-hmm. So we were part of that. Even though the project was in Middletown, the county engineer maintains bridges the county maintains bridges on through county roads. The county commissioners have a highway systems map that the county engineer keeps. Mm-hmm. And any road in that goes in and out of, it goes into a municipality where the county's responsible for the bridges on that route.
Oh, okay.
So if it's a township road, we're not. But if it's a county, if it's on that through county system, the county maintains it. So we maintain the bridge. So we were involved in widening the bridge. We had to replace it anyway. It was, of a condition that needed to be replaced. So it wasn't stretched to go ahead and build it longer. I think Middletown worked with us in expanding it. Mm-hmm. The other big improvement, the other big hospital that's brought improvements has been Mercy on Kings Island Drive. And they brought the money widen the road. We were looking at not widening Kings Mills Road from Kings Island Drive to Columbia Road until like 2028. The way that our funding was set up, there's just no way that we could do it before then. Well, they had to widen Kings Island Drive to get the turn lane into the site where they wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And they needed to add turn lanes on Columbia Road on the east side of the site to get their emergency equipment in and out.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought it $7 million to do that project.
Oh.
And we just got that. That's just been completed. So that's a big change. Seeing hospitals come to Warren County and the improvements that have been needed to make those access work for them. And then Kings Island has grown too. Although Mason has really handled the improvements on Kings Island Drive for that. So they've done a super job in doing that. So yeah, there have been lots of big changes. Renaissance Festival, that's brought a lot of traffic to Warren County. So not so much on county roads, but we've worked with them on solving some congestion issues a little bit. So
Yeah, it always happens.
yeah, right. So
And then, so what are some of the most important things that you learned from working with Warren County?
how important your people are. And I've really learned how much experience our highway department has. They can do a lot of work, and we've seen a lot of changes. We've had a lot of retirements and things like that, and it's a challenge getting them trained to do what they need to do. And the way licensure for commercial driving is, I wouldn't say it's changed somewhat, but getting it done seems more of a challenge than what it used to be. When I started with the county, there wasn't a commercial driver's license. You had a chauffeur's license, and there's a little bit of a test for it. But then with trucks getting larger and whatnot, they went to a commercial driver's license program, and which required a lot of the drivers that we had got grandfathered into a CDL. But as the new people came on, they had to go through training, and that's been a challenge to get that done. And so we're working on it. We're actually now able to train our drivers. There's an in-class that we can fortunately do online, and get them be able to take their tests, to be able to take their driver, to get ready to do the driver portion of it, and then we can oversee the driver's test, and or at least the training for the driver's test. They still need to go someplace and take the actual field test for the driver's thing. So, but that's but we've got good people, and we're providing them with the materials and equipment they need to get the job done. Let's see.
We were talking about the important things you've learned from Warren County.
And again, how great it's been to work with other elected officials. I mean, like I said, I saw that when I first came here, and I was really impressed. So, and we I learned a lot from Matt Nolan in the auditor's office, working with the sheriff on how we can do things better on our guardrail. I mean, trying to get a handle on that, traffic control. There's just a lot of areas where
that have been improved, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are you gonna miss most about working for the county?
Oh, just working with people and getting projects done. I'm not I'm happy working in the office. I'm not
In the field?
well, I mean, get out in the field a little bit, but it's just so much going on in the office, and I miss getting out in the field. I used to get out quite a bit, but when I came to work for the county back in '86, I replaced the chief deputy engineer who had been bridge engineer, and he said he was showing me. I went out with him for about a month, and we did bridge inspections. I learned the ins and outs of doing bridge inspections with him, and he said, "Now when June rolls around next year," he says, "you can get out and try the county and see how things are done." He says that's when things really slack off a little bit. He says your planning period isn't done. It's mainly the winter to get ready for the spring and summer construction. Well, about that time, there was a big project that was coming on. It was before P&G, but I think it was Dixie Highway. Oh yeah, we were getting ready to widen Manchester Road, and there was another project that my predecessor was leading the charge on, and I said to him a year later, I said, "When's this slow period that you talked about? I haven't seen it yet."
I guess the slow period would be retirement, right?
Yeah, that's it.
What do you, besides working for the building commission for the church, what else do you plan to do?
I don't know yet. I got a bunch of honeydew. I got a big honeydew list to take care of. So.
Oh yeah.
So we'll
That's
see.
gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And then maybe taking a hike, walking around, something. What advice would you give to current Warren County employees?
Oh. Appreciate what you have. I have a story I like to tell. When I was in the 7th grade, I went to a junior high school, and my homeroom teacher selected me to work in the book room at the junior high school. And it was, collecting books and distributing books. Collecting books at the end of after the school year was up, it was like 2 weeks, and we'd take them from the different classrooms and check them for condition, and then file them, store them where they could be picked up before the next school season.
Yes.
But I worked with a bunch of guys that complained about stuff. So that kind of rubbed off on me, and I'm sitting at the dinner table, and I'm complaining about the job, and my dad pounded the table and he says, "Be thankful you've got a job."
Ooh.
And that stuck with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah. That would get me too. Goodness.
So I always tell my employees, be thankful we got a job. but I I have appreciated every job I've had since then. I've appreciated. I've learned a lot. I co-op for ODOT. I co-opted at A.M. Kinney, and I learned a lot. And it's been fun. And I just hope that people have as much fun doing their jobs as I've had. I've hopefully made it fun for my staff. I'm hoping. So I think because you learn a lot more when you're having fun. If you don't have fun, the switch turns off and you're not listening.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm sure you'll get calls in the future of figuring out whether or not you've made it fun or not.
Yeah, there you go.
Is there anything additional you would like to add?
Oh boy. I think I've picked up all the projects. I mean, the major projects. I mean, I've worked on so many projects over the years. It's, like I said, it's been good, and there's always been kind of a twist to each one. That's you hope to remember that when you're getting ready to do something else, and usually when something comes up, we've dealt with that before. We know how to address it, so it makes it a little easier, but
more manageable.
Yeah. Knowing what to expect is helpful.
Absolutely. Do you have anything more you'd like to add?
I do not. Thank you so much for coming in and allowing us to interview.
Thank you so much for coming. This will conclude the interview.
Okay. Working with over the years. George Terwilliger was the first one. I worked with him from when I came here in '86 till when he got elected state rep in '92. So he was great. I really enjoyed working with Pat South and Larry Krisenberry. They were absolutely great to work with. I've really enjoyed working with Dave Young. He's been outstanding. He's been really kind of a champion of some of our projects, and I really like working with Tom Harris and Shannon Jones. So they've been good, and not that I don't like the others. It's just that they've been ones that have really helped me get things done. So. And as far as the county auditor, Les Spaeth, and then Nick Nelson, and now Matt Nolan, and Beth Deckard in the recorder's office, and now Linda Oda, they've been outstanding to work with. The treasurer, I didn't work so much with Doc Cornett, Harry Cornett, but I did work with.
The current?
No, this is Cecil. He was auditor until about 15 years ago, and then it was Jim Lefevre, and then Jim Alman, and now our current treasurer, Barney Wright, and our soon Randy Cooven. I work with Randy Cooven and the Republican Party thing, so I really highly respect Randy. He'll be a great asset to the treasurer's office. So, and then I've worked with Tom Harris. I didn't work so much with the previous sheriffs, but Tom Harris and Larry Sims, sheriff's offices. So, but and then Jim Spaeth and Paul. The previous clerk of courts. That's terrible, Paul. He was funny. He was great, and the people that worked for him. That's terrible when I draw a blank on names.
You listed
And,
so many names already. I mean,
And then Jim Spaeth is auditor or clerk of courts. I mean, so yeah. But I just wanted to point them out that they have meant a lot to me, and the whole Warren County, how they work together, has meant a lot to me. So, and I don't always see that when I go to county engineers meetings up in Columbus. I don't always hear that about this, how they struggle with other elected officials, and I'm thinking, I'm blessed. So I just want to get that out there. That
of course.
I want the others to know how much they do mean to me.
I know they will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Is there anything more you'd like to add?
Not right at the moment, but
No worries.
Okay.
Feel free to talk to us some other time too.
Sure.
Well, let's conclude it. Thank you.
Okay.